I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for TJ to text me after we play that drop. He will be joining us, by the way, Fridays at 3 as soon as the NFL season starts. I believe he's actually
starting this Friday, but when they start.
Next Friday, yes. But I talked to him the day before we heard his commercial and we made that drop. I haven't heard from him since, so I don't know. We'll see. I can't wait. Sorry, he's going to hear that drop in here for sure. Kenny, a few ticket texts before we get to the callers.
Not playing / prepping guys at full speed is how you get guys hurt. You have to play them.
That's old school. I can't tell you it's wrong, but it's old school.
I think you play certain players wouldn't play anyone with an injury history.
Yeah, but but define injury history.
DeAndre Swift.
Okay. I guess my question is, where's that line of demarcation when you can go out and get hurt at any time?
I think if it's a high-level player with an injury history, I think it just depends on your roster spot at that point.
Sure.
Good afternoon. Goff, Swift, Hawkinson, St. Brown should not play at all in this game on Sunday. The O-line starters and defensive starters should only play one drive. I lean more towards players needing reps. I wouldn't even go the first full half, though. Do the first quarter and a drive or two in the second. That's from Ryan.
Yeah. I look, this is one that's up to you guys. It's totally subjective. I can't prove it one way or the other. Let's go to Jeff on a cell. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, how you doing? Love the show.
Thank you.
So I'm on the side slightly in favor of getting some playing time in. I mean, what are exhibition games for? They're to hone your plays and players for the season, right? But that's obviously there's no clear solution to this. But I do have one suggestion.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm naive, but what about putting yellow shirts on the quarterbacks or red shirts, whatever they do in practice? And, the rule is you don't tackle quarterbacks in exhibition games. And I don't know, maybe receivers too, or running back. No, you can't do running backs. But point being, the NFL has an interest in the star players playing.
It is, Jeff, but now you've just basically said let's play two-hand touch because
just for the one position.
I understand, but what about the guy who's on the defensive line trying to make the team? And if you can get a couple of sacks in there, that may be the difference between you being on the practice squad or actually on the 53-man squad.
But if you get there, you get there. And the coaching staff and the tape won't lie. Here's what I'll say. It's not realistic, but Jeff's not off base because quarterbacks aren't players anymore. They're commodities. Think about this. You have a Pat Mahomes. You have a Josh Allen, a Justin Herbert. Those guys aren't just players. They are the franchise. They are essentially the logo on the helmet.
True. But just think that Kenny Cott is fighting for the team, and Kenny Cott got a sack.
Yeah, but Kenny's a bum.
No, he gets he gets 2 sacks. He gets 2 sacks in game number 3 against Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Now when you walk into that room, he's feeling a little better about making the squad.
Right, but what's the difference if Kenny turns the edge, has a clear shot at Mahomes, they blow the play dead? Tape still says Kenny beat his man.
He does. But if it's that hit that you're like, oh, you remember that hit that Kenny got?
Leonard Marshall on Joe Montana.
It stands out.
It was a great hit.
Whatever.
Logan's up next, 97.1. What's up, Logan?
Hey, guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. We'll give you one.
So I think I got to agree with Kenny on this one about maybe just one drive or just a few plays on the O-line. I think this is, for me, at least as much as I'd want to play everyone, I think that it's just we haven't seen the full product of the whole healthy O-line, so it's probably best that we either play him very minimally or not at all.
Yeah, I mean, Logan, listen, it's part of the reason week 1 in the NFL, so much weird stuff happens. It's why the product suffers. We've gotten to a point where I don't care what basketball does, or I don't care about baseball or hockey. Football is a game where you got to have 11 guys on each side of the ball playing on a string. And when you haven't played and you haven't gotten those reps, it does take a little bit. I also think what you're seeing, and again, I'm not dying on this hill. I'm offering you my perception. Whether it's real or not, we would need to see studies and data. But you feel like the first couple weeks of the season, guys are not in football shape. They haven't played football games. And you do see quite a few soft tissue injuries. Guys have not been getting hit. Guys have not been in that rhythm. So we're paying a price for it.
It's the catch-22.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a way out.
Right, but as silly as it sounds, you feel a little better knowing that your player went out in week 1 or week 2 of the regular season.
You're rationalizing your disappointment.
Then, he went out in the preseason.
Right.
That game didn't even count. Whereas game 1 or game 2, it matters.
The problem for me, and again, I see both sides. Look at Tyron Smith, the left tackle for the Cowboys. Fantastic player. He was at practice during a running play, and he has a collision with Leighton Vander Esch and tears his hamstring. I mean, he's going to be gone for, what did they say? 6 to 8 weeks minimum?
Yeah.
Now, look, the Cowboys are still a nice team, but you lose an all-pro left tackle. That has just altered your season. The kid they drafted to be the left tackle of the future, they were playing at guard. Now you go from an all-pro to a rookie.
Well, here's the thing, Mike, and it's almost the reverse of your hit list. It's like you having to pay the price for all of the good things that you got on your list. Because you're looking at Kayvon Thibodeau, almost done for the year. He's out.
And you know what?
And then now Chet Holmgren, the guy who you said is going to be the rookie of the year. Well, maybe not.
No, and the worst part is,
this is what you get for setting fires.
No, I feel bad because the Liz, unbelievable. That's wrong. Not only has he not subscribed to Cash the Ticket, he's just out here dropping bombs. No, the Liz Frank injury is such a bad injury. I'd rather you told me he tore his ACL. Seriously. At least it's a clean fix, and we'll see you in a year.
I mean, he'll probably be back in a year because they're not going to rush this thing.
No, you can't. You can't with that injury. Let's go to Steve, 97.1. What's up, Stevie?
Hey, you kind of touched on a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. I think you got to play the starters. I mean, collectively, you've got to have all of your players playing together. You can't worry about injuries because injuries are going to happen whether they happen in practice, preseason, or in the first couple of weeks of regular season. So, and especially in the Lions situation, you got a lot of guys that offensive line hasn't played together much. They didn't play together last year.
Right.
So you got to get those guys playing together. You got to get Swift. He was out part of last year. You got Goff.
But Steve, the argument is, you had joint practices against the Colts. You're practicing daily within the limits of the contact period. Steve, it's a very complex issue, and I don't know if any of us have figured out the right answer.
You're right, but Mike, the game used to be really good back in the day, and they played 3 quarters in week 3 of preseason.
Yeah. Well, and again,
they were playing after halftime. They would come out and play.
Yeah. Oh, and look, the reason we're bringing it up is Dan Campbell saying what his plan is, and he's going to play the starters, not named Jared Goff, a half Sunday, and it's, some people.
I mean, I played Jared Goff. To be honest with you, get him out there.
Oh boy, that's tough. I mean, I get it. I do.
See the
but
problem.
You lose your quarterback, your season is over.
And this is one where there is a fall off. You lose Jared Goff as much, whatever you think about him, you're staring 2-15, 1-16 in the face.
The Lions' refusal to have a legitimate veteran backup or a true young prospect, and I'm not just talking with Goff.
Dude, it goes back to that Kramer, Pete, Andre Ware, and after that, it was like they vowed, we will never go through this again.
Well, I mean, at least they had Kitna for a period, right? Yeah. No, but I'm saying...
No, you're right. Yeah,
dude,
a guy who maybe can get you a couple of wins on his last legs, but he knows the room, he's smart.
For basically 15 years, they haven't had a real backup quarterback. They haven't.
Oh, you're right.
And that's the scary part.
And that's why you can't play. Yeah. And if I did play Goff, he's going to be in there when I do the 8 run plays. Maybe I'll throw a play action in there.
Isn't that how James Stewart got hurt? Preseason, week 3 against Buffalo, and Mooch
4.
Yeah, Mooch ran him 9 straight plays, or whatever, and James Stewart blew his shoulder out, right?
Week 4, right? In the game that no starter plays, and he was in there. No, I know what I'm doing.
Tell me your coach hates you. 2-4.
Isn't it the other side of this, though? If Dan Campbell wants to install this grit culture within the Lions, don't you kind of have to a little bit?
Did you just violate the rules of your own drinking game?
What's that?
You use the words grit and culture in the same sentence.
That's true. That's like 4 drinks right in a row.
Yeah, that's it. Your lunch hasn't even arrived.
That's true. I got to put some padding down first.
But there is truth in what he's saying, Rico. if you're building this thing off of toughness, off of commitment, off of team, it is very difficult to then tell your guys you're worth enough to not play, but you're replaceable.
But you do, Mike. It's the Jimmy Johnson way of doing things when he was with Dallas and said, some of you guys, I'm not going to play because you're my stars, and some of you guys are not, and I'm going to treat my stars differently than I treat everybody else. Emmett can walk in late for a meeting, but you can't.